Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm Michelle Grace Lusserard, and this is the bonus call for the Initiate Retreat that was held a month ago in December, and lots gone on since then. So today, what's going to happen is um, it's just that we're going to listen to what's going on. You can ask questions, you can get support. Tell me where you're at and what's going on with your own retreat materials. Have you initiated anything? What would you like to see happen in the first quarter of 2020? So, and we'll go until we're done. So.
I guess I'll go. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, little froggy voice here. This is as good as it's getting. So if I start hacking, I'll go on mute. Like I wrote on some of the posts, it has just been a mess. I mean, I was really busy with clients. I was very grateful for, so I wasn't able to really do much with the Initiate. And then life just went bonkers. I mean, it's truly been one fiasco disaster after the next. And then getting sick, it's like, okay, what am I not getting here? It's like, am I missing a message, or is it just, I don't know. So I've been obviously frustrated because I can't get this done, but at the same time, I know there's nothing I can do. I'm very glad everybody's getting progress, but I feel like, okay, I'm at the same point again. It's like I get going and the wheels come off of everything. And literally the house is just really fall apart everywhere. So I don't really know the message. I haven't felt well enough the last week to sit down and get quiet, but that's just where I'm at. I know something has to shift. I keep trying to get systems in place, and I keep going, okay, there's ease. I can manifest this with ease, and yet it just, I don't know. I don't get it.
Okay.
I guess that's where I'm at. I just don't get it.
Okay. Okay. So what would support you right now? What would you from me, from the other people in the circle?
Maybe if they have any ideas of maybe something I'm not seeing.
Okay.
I'm willing to hear feedback if they're seeing something I'm not seeing.
Okay.
Or they're getting something, like getting a hit that maybe I need to know. I'm open.
Okay. So where was the mold that you didn't know was there?
It was in two places. Well, I knew there was some in my master bathroom, but I had done work on that.
Yeah, I remember you did work.
Yeah, I did work on that already. Where I found it was around the master bathroom window behind a blind. I mean, it was, I didn't even have a camera to take a picture of it. It was so bad. Okay. I mean, we're talking the black mold spores just popping off. I mean, it was horrible. And then behind my bed at the window right behind me. So that was not nearly as bad and easier to clean up. Okay. So they were the two big areas. Yeah, so that's where the moldy areas. I mean, I know I have to get out of this house. Yeah. It is a sick house. I just need about $2,000 on top of all my other bills to be able to get the bare minimum repairs done for it.
Okay.
No one's going to buy it for what I needed to sell for. I mean, I have to pay my brother back for this. So I have to get at least close to what he lent me.
Okay. So
that's kind of where I'm at. But my goal is to get out of this house. It's just not a healthy house.
Okay. So if mold is a spirit, what does it want you to know?
Well, the only thing that came out was get out.
Okay.
So I know I have to get out of this house.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. So it kind of like settled everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know to redo that whole bathroom, it's not, this house isn't worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a tear down. So I'm not going to put in 10, 20,000 I don't have to. No, that's not happening.
Okay. Okay. Um,
So now does that relay into business? Just get out of business and forget the whole thing. So then it's like my brain goes, well, maybe I just need to get out of everything.
so what would that look like? Does
I
that feel light?
No,
Okay.
nothing. Well, see, unfortunately right now today, nothing feels light because I don't feel well.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but going back to nursing is also not feeling light either. So, yeah.
But so I had a friend who ended up working for she was a surgical nurse, and she ended up going back into insurance and dealing with customers. I mean, she got a really good job doing insurance work. Um, so is there anything outside of that you can take the nursing experience and translate it into something else?
Yeah, there are several things. And up to this point, I mean, I haven't looked in a while. The barrier has been my degree.
Okay.
So, but it's been a while since I've looked.
Okay. Okay. And the barrier has been your degree that you've got too much education?
Yeah. Yeah. Too much experience, too much education. I expect too much money. I'm like, we didn't even have a conversation yet. So
Okay.
the conversation ends before we even have a conversation.
Okay.
And unfortunately, now with everything automated, you can't even get to anybody. They look at it and toss it. So I just have to figure that piece out.
Okay. So energetically, where's the mold sitting in your body right now?
Well, after last night, I don't think it's anywhere.
Okay.
Because I literally
yeah.
for hours. Yeah. I was like, I am so done.
leave.
I mean, I've been where I've actually I think I'm moving through this faster than most people because of what I've done. But when I felt this relapse at around 4 a.m, I mean, I'm like, I am so over this. I just commanded they all come in. I'm like, we're dealing with this now. So,
okay.
Yeah. I don't think there's any mold left in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So going out into your field, the mold feels really ancient.
Mm-hmm.
So just go into, so they're, okay, I don't know whether I'm making this up, so I'm just going to tell you. They're showing me mold and grains, but it's not in this lifetime. It's some other lifetime.
Okay.
So there's a connection to grains and mold and your relationship to it. So just if it was me, I'd go do a journey or whatever way you journey and go back and ask and see what pops up around that and cut all the cords from that.
Okay.
I'm just going to trust it. So.
Okay. All right.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to trust that I know you know what you need to do around
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because if it feels like it's out of nowhere coming, it's like, okay, what other place is this coming from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of where I've been looking, like, where else is this coming from? And what's
You're showing me definitely a pile of grain. And, I see you standing over it and looking at it, making an assessment. Either, maybe there's a story there that you haven't really tapped into yet that, it's like, it's almost like mold's been your friend. Like,
yeah.
And it doesn't know that it needs to disengage.
Yeah,
so
I get
coming
it.
back, like, oh, you want me back? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because when I lived in Florida, I had a mold in the house. And so when I moved to Arizona, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Who moves to Arizona and moves into a moldy house? I'm like, everybody laughed at me. I'm like, well, okay, there's obviously something here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this all makes sense now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because if you keep calling it in, it's not that you're calling it in, but there's an
Right.
energetic connection
Yeah.
between you and mold, and it's not in this life.
Yeah. It's something else I have to
It's
get rid of.
something else. So
Okay.
keep me posted on that part.
I will. Thank you. But anybody in the group, please feel free to contribute. Those that are here live and listening later. Yeah. I'm open. I'm
Sick of this mold. I mean, one of the several years in a row, I had to get CEU credits on how to remediate mold. So when you said it, I was like, really, I know what, it's not fun.
No.
And
No.
it's just not fun. So
no. Unfortunately, my neighbor lent me this ozone machine, which has made the world of difference for me to breathe in here. Now she's coming back, I think, within a week, and I'm going to have to give this machine back. And I'm like, oh crap, I better go buy myself a machine. But yeah, so that'll be the next purchase I have to make just to keep me in here long enough till I can get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Charlene.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
Thanks.
Can I add something?
Sure.
I just kept hearing magic and miracles in terms of things to ask for, like just to kind of break outside the box of the whole history of this. And I needed to get a ozone machine too, and I got a heavy duty industrial one for $300.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing, my God, you could clear out the Empire State Building with it. It's really, it was worth every penny.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever that's worth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael.
Sure.
Okay. What else is up?
Well, I'll report in.
Okay. Hi, Michael.
Hi. I have a Niagara Falls coming out of my nose today, so I've just got the worst head cold I've had in a long time, and things have been wonderful.
Okay, good.
I've started writing a book since the initiate retreat. I picked up 2 clients, an old one and a new one, and I'm just I wasn't sure. I haven't been sure who I am since I have a new occupant,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like all the skills I developed over 70 years are intact, and I'm discovering a whole new relationship with them. Particularly, the only place I really haven't ventured out is in the shamanic world, which was a big part of my world, but before the last couple of years. So I'm just in a place of quiet gratitude about everything and excitement. So,
Yay.
yeah. So I just wanted to throw that into the pot and say thank you to you and everyone that was on that call, because it was so useful for me.
Good. Yay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael.
So I have a question, Michelle.
Hi, Janie.
Everyone that I know on the call, which is a lot of you. Does your superpower change from initiate retreat to initiate retreat? Okay.
You can.
I was having a difficult time figuring out what mine was or is.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely animal whisperer since the butterflies. Nature lover, maybe. So I don't know. Maybe could we talk about that more? If anybody's superpower has changed, or I'm just having a difficult time figuring out what mine is right now.
So what was it, and okay, so what was it?
I don't remember, but I remember saying it actually live a year ago. Um, like a creator of change. I was a change maker. And this year I feel like I'm more quiet, like I'm kind of just wanting to be. I don't feel like, and maybe it's because I do have the full-time job that I'm not as, I don't feel the urge to have to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what's stopping me. But right now I'm just don't feel passionate about creating a business. I know it's the way I've always talked about it, but so maybe it's just right. My superpower now is just to be an animal, nature. It's nature, paralandra, butterflies, gardening, that kind of stuff.
So where are you making yourself wrong for not being in business?
That's good because I did write that down. I feel that a job is more secure and stable, and I like that steady paycheck.
Okay.
Once that goes, I'm just too afraid. And again, it keeps coming up at my age. I need to work as long as I can until whatever. Hi, your husband's in the background. No. Yeah, it's just my belief system that I'm more secure with a steady paycheck right now.
Okay. So what, okay, so you have the job, you like the job, correct?
Yeah, mostly.
So, well, my thing is, if you have the job and you like the job, too often what I see happen is people either make themselves wrong for having a job, like they're split. There's like, I can do entrepreneurship or I have a job. They don't
Right.
they don't look at it as like one and the same. It's a creative expression.
Mhm.
Now, one's more self-directed, the entrepreneurship is more self-directed, but the other is just, can be just as creative. So maybe the task is right now is to just be excited that one, you have a job, it's paying, and you can still play with the butterflies.
Right, which is wonderful.
And play in your garden.
Yes, and I can do that while I'm working. Oh,
So my
right.
superpower is I'm happy and content.
That's a superpower?
I mean, to me, it's a superpower because you're content.
Very. I'm a midwife for butterflies right now.
I mean, that is
It's pretty wild.
It's pretty wild, and people love watching it. They love hearing the. I mean, I look at them and I'm like, oh wow, look, there's It's almost like dog videos that I follow. I mean,
Oh, right, exactly.
Right now, I would much rather watch a butterfly video than, you need that relief.
Correct. Okay, then that's exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I think of Michelle Smallray,
Yeah.
with her Paralander garden. All she did was just hang out in her garden, and she wrote a book. So maybe that's kind of what's stewing for me. It's just stewing. It's on the pot. So thanks, because I wasn't sure if my superpower changed annually or did not, and it looks like it did.
Yeah. So, truth, are you to write a book?
Yeah, I've always wanted to write a book.
Okay, but wanting and feeling it in your body are two different things.
Uh-huh.
So, truth, Janie, are you being called to write a book and share your experiences?
Yes.
Okay. Which comes first, the book or being out in the world as an entrepreneur?
The book.
Okay. So, can you write the book and still be employed?
Definitely.
Okay.
Cool.
Does the book feel like it wants to be written now or later?
What I'm getting is that all I have to do is decide and it'll write itself, basically.
Okay, so tell me about the bridge between you and the book and the decisions in the bridge.
I haven't,
Where are you on that bridge?
I didn't really think about it. I don't, what would I write about?
But you know there's a book. I think
Right. I just need to ask the book, what is it about? What needs to be said? So it's basically okay, what's the bridge? It's taking a first step and connecting with the book and asking what wants to be written and that what wants to flow through me, actually. Yes, that's how I'm saying it.
And the butterflies are part of it, I would imagine.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a collaboration between you, your experiences in the butterflies, and the nature spirits.
Yeah, it's about nature spirits.
Is
And
there
how
a
to
nature
connect.
spirit that wants to come forward and help you? A diva that wants to come forward and help you write the book?
Yes, do I have to name the diva?
No, I just wondered
Okay.
if the diva was there and you haven't acknowledged it.
I feel a presence. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
How long has that diva been with you?
Since the butterflies.
Okay, so it just got here. It hasn't been sitting around for years and years going, well, she would write her book.
No, this one just came in. There's a diva of my garden, but that's just, that might be another one it's a different feeling.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So here's my suggestion. Is you get a piece of paper like this, you fold it into half, then you fold it again, and you start playing with the front and the back, the front being the book cover, the back being the back of the book, and actually play with it. Draw a butterfly, and then ask the diva to help you fill it up.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Because you're in partnership. It's a book, to me, it's a book about partnering.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, and it really is needed right now.
Very much so.
Well, we're watching the koala bears it's just gut-wrenching.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah.
But thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want feedback? Does anybody else have? No. Charlene says the garden whisperer.
Yeah, I like that.
Does anybody else have any feedback or ahas for Janie? Was that you coughing?
Charlene just raised her hand.
I just raised my hand. It's funny. You when you were Michelle, when you were talking about having her do the book and drawing the butterflies, the one thing that came through is whatever this is going to be about, using the butterflies transformation process as the process for the book. You know how it goes from the caterpillar into the chrysalis and does its thing, but each step of that is the process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's transformation is my word for 2020. So yeah.
So but it's using the butterfly, and then with each stage of the butterfly goes through from the caterpillar to the butterfly, that's the process or the system or whatever it is you want to call it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hope that comes clear because I can see it. I'm just not articulating it well.
Yeah, no. I feel it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Isn't that what we're all going through in a in this process, like we've been the caterpillars, and then you get into the cocoon of the chrysalis, and nobody really knows what's happening. And that's the frustrating thing when you're in this cocoon. You don't really know you can't do anything, and it just happens kind of alchemically within you before you can burst out and be the butterfly. And you can't do anything. You just have to let it happen.
Wow, good point.
Hang out in the goo.
Good point, Vika. Thank you.
That's my specialty. I'm just sitting here.
You're still in that chrysalis. Time to break out.
I thought I had broken out last year, but somehow might not have happened.
But you did. You're on another level. You're going up.
Yeah, yeah.
You did. Just think everything you've done in the last year, Vika.
Yeah.
And you did it all within 4 months or 3 or like, who does that?
Vika.
So Vika, what's your superpower this year?
I never reflected that it might have changed. So I just very confidently wrote presence. My superpower is presence, because that's what I see when I don't need to, which is kind of chrysalis-like, right? So I just sit there and I'm present, and people start to unwind and start to know what they have to do next, and the odd question, and then they just go off and do it. So I think that is a superpower, actually.
That's awesome. That's an awesome superpower.
Which is, even though that is very different to standing in front of a crowd, it's a different kind of presence, being in front of a crowd and speaking.
I would invite you to look at it as it's the same sort of energy. I found that when I go into a group, especially on a group call, it happened on Saturday when I was teaching the root chakra. Each of us is vibrating at a certain, the vibrations have to, I forget, the resonance has to match and mirror whatever you're holding. Either they'll spin out or they'll start to rise up. And I was, the person I was teaching with, I don't think she was used to the way I teach. And she said it, you could see her like exhausted at the end because I was just doing my thing. And people were going into their own soul retrieval process. And I didn't realize I was doing it because I'm just natural. You're naturally there. So when you're with a one-on-one or whether you're in a big group, it's naturally happening. And it just was amazing to me because she said at the end, you leaped from right brain to left brain, the right brain to left brain. And I was like, I don't categorize it like that. I'm just in it and flowing with it and whatever way it needs to go, except for somebody who is really into control, it can be exhausting.
I had a similar conversation today with a friend she's doing like trainings and she's a corporate trainer, let's say. And when we talked, she was with all this control, cognitive learning, and I tried to express that for me by now there's a different way of learning. There is this, or teaching, energetic teaching just means you need to be present in the energy and you need to feel it really, and then you can recreate it, and by that you have learned it. Like nonviolent communication, instead of going through all the mental steps that keep you in control, tune into me, tune in how I get from shooting at you to being centered. And if people feel that, they learn it so much quicker. And she struggled to understand. And it's like, yeah, I think I know what you mean, but people will still need that other way. Maybe. Maybe it's different people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it happens not only in a one-on-one, group, small group, but it also happens in large rooms. If you're willing to go in and move into the energy of the large rooms. So that's just my observation of it. So
For me, the three things that I put out on my tree were the book,
mm-hmm.
as a book, talking about it for ages. And the other was keynote speaking, which is exactly what we're talking about right now. Keynote speaking came very strongly.
Mm.
And then like a VIP day, those were the three things. And I put them out on the tree, and the next morning they were down on the ground. It's like, that doesn't feel right. And I brought them in. And then the entire month passed before I redid the Initiate Retreat the other day and put them out again. And this month, we had the call about the key in the bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it happened again during Christmas. So it was something very intense. And I could feel as it happened. It was like stuck in again. And I think I just needed this time to recuperate or move it out again on my own or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. I'm excited for you.
I really don't. It's like, so when will it start? It's like the client, they are kind of all in a muddle, and I'm not anywhere further with the contract. So like this morning, I was like, move me, show me. I'm sitting here at home, and it's, it doesn't always feel good.
Okay.
And I had hoped that the Initiate Retreat would have magically burned off the dross.
I don't think you're going to see a shift. Anybody's, I'm not saying that as a negative. I think there's a holding pattern going on energetically in the world right now, and I don't think you're going to see a lot of until February.
Okay.
In February, there's a really important this week with the full moon and the Pluto-Saturn conjunction.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been waiting for it for the last, eons, but especially in the last year, and we've been cleaning slate like crazy in order to go into that next place. And I'm just like really clear that things will start to pop at the beginning of, and probably mid-February. So don't be beating yourself up if it doesn't happen right away, or that you're not getting, there's a flow to this and there's a rhythm to it, and it needs the winter time, the seeding time, to go within and be in the dark and let the seeds be calm.
Yeah.
It's like that chrysalis stage that Janie was talking about. And really, if you're going to put out a book or put out content, it's important that you allow the seeding time to happen. There's a reason for it. But I also can see where Janie's book is going to be a catalyst to take her into that next place. I can see it energetically feels like it. And, it feels like the doorway's there and you're like, it's open. There's no problem with it being open. A lot of people have trouble opening the door. And you're beyond the threshold and you're still not sure what's coming.
Exactly. And that's not my fault, no?
No,
Okay.
no.
It's always my fault. No, it's
No,
not.
I wouldn't look at it. If I'm starting to look at it as a fault, then there's an inner child there that around judgment, blame, and shame. And so
Well, the master judge lives right on the other plane.
Yeah.
It's an intense training here.
Intense training.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that. I saw it happen with my own mother-in-law. This this past Christmas. I was just like, whoa. And but I didn't get hooked the same way, and I guess what I want to say is there's a lot of swirling energetically in the collective right now in the lower three chakras. Intense churning. It's like it's trying to get fed, and it's not being fed the way it thinks it wants to get fed, and so it's just rising. And those of us who have been walking this path for a long time can sense it and feel it. And it's not a time to get out in front of people like that and like shake them. There's a part of me that just wants to shake them and say, don't you see what you're doing? And, you know, it's like, it's just an intense time, and I just want to not honor that and to not make anybody wrong around their choices and the places that they're at. Because the wrongness will stop all forms of creativity.
That is true. Yeah.
You know, so thanks for bringing that up, Deepka. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know, it's funny. I've been quiet, and it does feel like deep resting, kind of reordering things. You know, I got to listen to the retreat materials about a week after, and wow, the clearings that you did, just really, I could feel the energy change. And when I put up my flags, I went to our cottage, which is, you know, the land is forest. It's by a lake. It was pretty much abandoned because it's, you know, summer people. And I walked deep into the woods and tied it to the same tree that I had tied my June ones on. And of course, the June ones had disappeared. And it just started to snow, just gentle snow. And it just felt right, but quiet, you know. And since that time, I have a lot of things that I wrote down in the retreat, and I know those will happen, but it's not time yet. Today and yesterday were the first days that I've actually kind of gotten down to doing some things. Most of what I've been doing is kind of cleaning up, organizing, straightening up, throwing things away, lots of paper away, throw it away, going through things. And I'm still in the process of doing that, and that feels really important. So just being very gentle with myself. You know, for a long time after Christmas, I was just tired. And then before, you know, a lot of the recent events, just was feeling filled with just sadness and grief. And I know something's working itself out. But, you know, that's kind of where I am right now.
And I just want to honor the expansion that happened all during the book promotion. Like, you were in a super expanded state, and you did it. And we're all like,
I learned to do things that I don't usually do, and that don't always come easily to me. And I've learned a lot, so I know how to move things forward differently. And I also know some things that I need to do a little bit differently. But yeah, that felt really, really good and right and exciting. And I'm excited about planning out what comes next. I mean, and I realize this year's, it's not a rest year, but I want to continue to promote and build on what I've established. And whatever the next book is will not come out until 2021 because I don't want to rush it. And that's okay. My old self would be, I haven't done enough. It's not happening fast enough. Every year I'm a year older, blah, blah, blah. And somehow those concerns have fallen by the wayside, which, yay for that. So all of that feels good. But very, very quiet. I posted, people were asking why is it so quiet? I'm really not on social media very much right now, except if there's puppies and kittens to look at. It's pretty depressing. And I also just wore myself out doing it because I was trying to promote without being obnoxious. And walking that fine line and, putting up if a bookstore was doing something or there was a child reading the book and there was a picture. But it took a lot of time and it took a lot of energy. I think it was necessary. But at this point, there were times I was on speaking to people at Facebook because they would always, if you're running a promotion, they would always say there was a text penalty for anybody who's writing a book. If you promote it on Facebook, the cover of the book, because it has text on it, gets a, quote, text penalty. It's entirely against the rules, but it's the machine looking at the picture. And so they are then reducing who they send it to. Then you have to call them and talk to it and ask for a manual review. But even then, they don't distribute it to all the people they would ordinarily until there's an appeal. So every time I placed an ad on Facebook, it was at least an hour to an hour and a half talking to somebody. And they were all very nice, but there was no getting around doing that, which was really tiresome. But I know a lot about all these things now, and it'll be easier in the future. but Facebook's so fun.
Who would know that you would get penalized for text on a book cover?
When they first said text penalty, because they do not explain it, I thought I was writing too much text in my explanation.
Yeah.
And so I made that briefer. That isn't what they meant. That meant there's a percentage of text that can be in the image. And if it's too much, they will not distribute it to as many people. But there are exceptions, a book cover being one of them, except they don't follow their own exceptions. And so I was probably doing this for at least 6 weeks before I learned that the things to say, which was, this is against your own policies. I read your policies, it's against your policy. And then the second thing is, why am I spending my marketing budget on you guys when you're not doing what you ought to be doing? And that kind of felt like, but I didn't know what they were even talking about, and it's not intuitive, and they are not full of information. You really have to keep delving in and looking, and so it took a while for me to learn that, but I know it now. So and Amazon wasn't fun to work with either, but I'm learning about that too. But the bottom line is the book did really well. It did, better than anybody said it was going to do. I'm going to look for a distributor this year, which is one of my big things. The big guide distributors don't usually, do anything, but I see some inroads for distribution. So that's one of the big things. And I've developed really nice relationships with quite a few bookstores, independent bookstores, and I've also learned which ones to avoid. There were some that were like walking into the dead zone. I was really surprised. The energy among the different stores, very, very different. And so, but that's kind of fun to discover too. And so there's a lot that was fun. And I'm having fun thinking about what the next project's going to be, but I don't want to rush it.
Yeah, I'm excited. All I keep feeling is all the little kids reading the book, the energy of joy, just reading the book.
I really, really wanted and have made it a strong intention that the love and joy goes into the home with the book, and it goes over the internet with information about the book. I mean, the internet, we can be in thousands of houses, but what are we sending there? And you can send something that's positive and good across the airwaves.
Mm.
And so that's definitely the intention. And there have been so many things that have just happened that I know that it's been heard. And, you know, really every day when I do my devotions and things, the fact that the book was printed with wind power has given it a very special energy. It really has.
Mm.
And, you know, there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful magic that's going on. And I did discover my song for the year as I was doing something else, and I was going to post it, and of course I didn't. I was like, oh, I don't want to go on social media again. The Rainbow Connection. That's my, you know, I keep humming it to myself, and it's like, yeah, I think, do I hear voices, and are they calling my name? Yeah, they are.
Mm. Wonderful. Thank you, Valerie.
No, thank you.
Okay. It's a lot. A lot. You think it's not going on, but it is. And even if you're not on social media, it is. So what's next? Does anybody else want to share? Okay. So the forum will be open, stay open like it always does. Access to the materials will probably go away, you know, mid-February, February 1st, sometime February 1st to February 15th. So download it. I'm going to be making some changes to, you know, you may see a smaller version of it go out into the world so it can be done, the initiate retreat in a so what's been coming to me around the retreat is to do it in a smaller component, smaller footprint for somebody who needs to kickstart something, not necessarily, but not all the doodles would be in there. So when that comes up, you guys will get access to that. And we'll be meeting again, for those of you who are new to the process, we meet again in mid-June for the mid-year initiate retreat. So you'll get some information about that and how to sign up. And what happens is that, so let's talk about activation. So you want to give yourself at least 30 to 60 days for whatever transpired. And then you'll start to see things popping in February and March. It's important, and I may do another brief teaching in March around the spring planning. There's a reason why the initiate retreat happens in December, because you're entering, at least in the northern hemisphere, we're entering a time of going inward rather than pushing outward. But in the spring, it's time to push things outward. And so by the time we get to the June mid-year, we look again at the doodles with fresh eyes, and we go through the process again, because things have now started to bloom. And so each time we take, every time you tap into the doodles, there's another layer, another process. So I think it was really apropos for Janie to talk about the chrysalis and the goo that we're in right now, because it does feel like a goo, me included. And so I just thank you all for playing and being in my world and allowing me to share it. So if there's no other, I think we're done. So bye for now. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.